Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. Happy Wednesday. Just waiting for this to fully load. It looks like it's a little delayed. Hopefully you are seeing me live and my lips are matching my words and you can hear me. We've had quite a storm last night, so I'm hoping that my internet is serving me well today and you can all see me. If you could throw something in the comments just letting me know that you're here. It's not telling me that anybody is here, so I'm going to just start talking like I always do and hope that I'm connected. I'm going to take a peek on my phone, check to see if I'm speaking to myself for 30 minutes today, which would be unfortunate, but would not be the first time. Okay, awesome. Katie said, good morning from PA. Hello, Katie. How are you? I hope you're having a great summer, and I hope that today is a beautiful sunny day in your part of the world, my former part of the world. So today I wanted to talk about the theme of today is revive and reboot. We have all had the most crazy, unprecedented year and a half of our entire lives. We've never lived through anything like this before, and I hope that we never have to again. But a lot of the good that came out of this whole situation with our salons being mandated to close, think about the collective time out that we were just put in. If you're a parent, you know all about the time out, how when a child is having a tantrum and there's no reasoning with them, you simply have to just put them in a timeout, put them in a quiet area where they can scream and kick and have a tantrum and they're not going to hurt themselves, but there's nothing that you can do for them. So we as adults rarely give ourselves we rarely choose to give ourselves a timeout. Usually it's something happens to our health. We break an ankle, we break an arm, we cut our finger cutting hair, and we go to the hospital and get stitches. Something else happens to us to force us into a timeout. And in that timeout, in that quiet time, is when we see what we're doing that can be done differently that we would never have stopped to look at otherwise. So I want you to look at 2020 and most of 2021 as your spa retreat. It was your trek to the mountains to do a silent retreat with the monks. Things that you and I have never done, taken the time out to do over our work ethic, over, we have to go, go, go. We're hairdressers. We love to be busy. We love people and being social. We always multitask. We move at a pace that most people don't. But we don't give ourselves that time to reflect on how we're doing things and why we're doing things the way that we do them. 17 years into my career, I made a wonderful decision to specialize in hair color. It was something I just never thought was a thing. I thought, if you're a hairdresser, you have to be good at everything. You have to cut, you have to color, you have to wax, you have to do updos, you have to do makeup, you have to be good at everything. And I was doing everything for 17 years, but I found myself, I often say, it's my hair lip reaction. I would look at the book, and when I would see an updo, my lip would instantly do this. When I would look at my book, I'd be like, oh, an updo. So I want to ask you, what are you doing that's curling your lip up in the air that you're doing over and over and over again because you just don't know any other way? It's the way you've always done it, the way that you drive to work, the things that you eat every single day. It's habits and routines. And everything stems from our mindset and how we look at things and how things affect us. So while you may have a routine that works for you, have you ever had company come and stay with you? I have my best friend come and stay with me often here. And it's not until she stays with me that I realize how many habits of mine are not good for me that I don't even realize. Like she wakes up first thing and drinks, a healthy juice or smoothie and goes right out and goes for a walk for an hour before she even eats anything. And I'm like, oh no, I need to have some breakfast first before I go for my walk. So we all have our things, right? And sometimes a friend will stay with you and they're using a certain product. Maybe it's a special toothpaste that they use, or their deodorant smells different than yours or works different than yours. But if you never had them stay with you and you never were, shown the way of them doing something differently, you would just keep doing what you're doing forever. So, how many of you have gained weight over the pandemic? I know I have. We got really sedentary. I've watched more Netflix. I should be one of those people that, votes on the shows and gives feedback. Remember when we were kids and your family got chosen to give feedback on shows? It was like a big deal. I forget what it was called, but they would send you a letter that you were chosen to like watch this show and give them feedback on it, on what time it was, and how was the episode? Was it funny? All of that. So your schedule in the salon, if you've been working in a salon, for 20 years and you're still working Saturdays, why? Are you still working Saturdays just because you always did? I haven't worked a Saturday in 17 years. And it was a choice. It was my decision to say, you know what? This is silly. I want to work on Mondays when nobody else is open. So we started opening on Mondays and our business exploded. Our competition said, you're crazy for closing on Saturdays. You're missing out on all those bridal parties. Guess what? You can have those bridal parties. That's a whole other coffee chat, a whole other conversation. They mess with your book for a year. They take you down financially unless you specialize in bridal parties. Bridal parties are taking revenue away from you. Trust me. We can have a private conversation about that another time, or I can do another coffee chat about it. So how many things are you doing the same way you've always done? And then COVID and being shut down and being put in that collective time out. First of all, the fear that was involved with not being able to work. I'm 54 years old. I've worked every day since I was 14. I've never not had a job. I've never been unemployed. I would do anything to make sure my bills were paid. I bartended, I waitressed at a comedy club. I think that's where I got some of my sense of humor that serves me now as an educator and a salon owner and a wife and a friend and all of the above. So doing what you're doing because you've always done it is not a good reason to do it. And when you've been put in that isolation, not being able to be with your friends, not being able to do your habitual things of going to the gym and seeing people at the gym, we had to figure out ways to work out at home. And a lot of you got really creative. I started doing yoga virtually with Mary Wilson, and that kept me moving during the pandemic. And I don't ever do yoga. So that was a great discovery for me, that it really relaxed me. I was doing deep breathing that I don't normally do. As you can see, I talk fast. I rarely breathe when I speak. So I discovered yoga for the first time because we were on lockdown, and my daughter has a membership to an online yoga community. When she was here visiting, we did different classes together. So finding ways of doing new things because we were paused. So think about your phone. I left without my phone the other day, and we were dog sitting, and I took the dog to the vet, and I realized when I got there I didn't have my phone. So I thought, my husband's going to wonder why it's taking so long. He's going to be dying to know if the dog's okay. And he's coming back to pick me up, and he's going to wait for me to text him to say, come get me. And I have no phone. I felt like someone chopped my right arm off. Like, that's how much we're dependent on our phones. So how many times has your phone just completely frozen? It just will not work. It won't. You're touching everything and you're trying to get to your phone, to the dial pad to call someone. It won't go there. It won't go to your emails. It won't go into your apps. It's just frozen. What do you do when that happens? You do a hard turn off. You hold the button down and you turn your phone off, and it's called rebooting. We do that for our phone. We do that for our computers. We do it for our cars. Anything that stops working, we do a reboot. We do something to shut everything down and then turn everything back on. You've done it with your internet modem in your house. There's a storm, the power goes out. You're freaking out because you don't have power, and then, oh my gosh, you're not going to be able to go on your computer or your phone. And then when the power comes on, you have to reboot everything and reconnect all your devices to the internet. So I'm hosting an event free on this page here where I do my coffee chats. You're gonna be confused because if you're my members, we have a special membership group If you're on my Ask the Color Expert page, that's that page. I'm Hairstylist Inner Circle. I'm on so many pages, I confuse myself. So rather than you be confused about where to show up for this Revive and Reboot event, make sure that you click the link in this broadcast. I'll share it again if it will let me in the comments. Oops, no, that's not it. And that won't let me delete that. Sorry about that. Just deleting that. I put the wrong link on here, and that's not relevant at all to what we're talking about. So it's called Revive and Reboot, and the link is in the top of this broadcast. So as soon as I hang up, you'll be able to see the link there, and you can click on it. And if you're in my Hair Color Secrets Insider membership, if you have bought things from me, my book, anything that I provide, you may already be on my email list, but you won't necessarily be on the list to receive emails about this event. So even if you're in my world, I still ask that you click on this link. Let me see if I can grab it here. Click on this link so that we know that you have intentions of showing up for the reboot. The reason I want you to do that is we're going to be giving prizes away, and you have to be there live to qualify for the prizes. You can't just watch the replay and then say, oh, I did whatever you asked me to do. So click, I just put it in the comments. Click on that link to join us. And I have amazing guests joining me. I'm going to tease it right now, not really share exactly who they are, but they're people you're going to want to see. People in our industry who have done amazing things in education. And I just want to visit with them, talk show style, in this event. We're going to be live together, myself and my guests, and we're just going to talk about reviving and rebooting after this mess. If you're still stuck in that post-traumatic stress of what has just happened, you may still be so foggy that you don't even know what the hell just happened. A lot of salon owners were hurting because the government came in and said, we're telling these hairdressers they can't work. We have to make sure they get paid. So all of our hairdressers got paid, but the owner didn't get paid in the beginning. So my daughter was like making sure that our whole staff was paid, and then she didn't get paid. A lot of people have their businesses set up improperly. They're saying that their staff is booth rental, but then they're making them chip in for a receptionist or a shampoo. Like, there's a lot of gray areas in compensation, and if you were not set up properly, you didn't get the government help. So most of us love our nice cars and our designer handbags, and we like to go out to dinner. That's why the extra weight gain. But we don't have a lot of savings. We're not prepared for that emergency fund that, everybody tells you to do. Michael Cole's been telling us since the 80s to have 6 months of reserves in our bank account. Say something in the comments if you have 6 months. Tell me right now if you have 6 months of income in your bank ready for you if this, God forbid, were to happen again and you just could not work. Right now, our friends in Australia are on lockdown again. I'm not sure about Ireland. I think they might have gone back. But Australia is locked down again, and they were locked down for a long time as we were. So it's like, how do you possibly come back from that without rebooting, without reviving, without changing how you're doing what you're doing? So don't look at it completely as, oh my gosh, I'm being punished. Oh my gosh, this is awful. What do I do? Like, don't get stuck in the funk of what you're missing out on. Stay in the grace of, wow, I was just put on a silent retreat and I didn't have to leave my house or pay for a big long flight or have jet lag to go to India and find myself. You could find yourself right in your own house. You could sit quietly and just reflect on, what did this pause mean to you? What could you possibly do in a different way than you're doing now to live a better life? I made so many changes during this time that I've often shared with all of you and on my podcast and with my members, that I have a little bit of survivor guilt of 2020 and 2021, that it's given me, I never slow down ever. My kids will tell you, I never sit and watch Netflix. I'm never lazy. I never lay around. I'm always creating new projects and coming up with new ideas and sharing and teaching and loving what I do. But because we were all in it together and I had nothing I possibly could do other than virtual things, that's where my revival event came from. I'm sitting home and I'm like, I don't do sit still. So I'm either writing a second book or I'm creating a virtual event. And I'm so happy that I created the virtual event. It was absolutely amazing. I just see Mary is on here. Mary and Philip were with us, and Vivian McKinder and Joe Blackwell and Beth Minardi, and we had an amazing time. And the reason I was able to put on such an event by myself was because I had so much time. And because I'm in the online space, I had experience with tech, with how to set up a group event like that. There's a lot of working parts and a lot of bells and whistles. So I was proud to have done it before Cosmoprof, before Salon Centric, before even Redken's event was online. Nobody had done an online event yet in our space. So I'm really proud of that. And I'm proud of our educators for being so open to it. They all rallied and were so into it, and the energy was just amazing. So it's amazing what you can do when you're forced to sit still and get scrappy and get creative. So I have about 25 of my A Colorful Journey book left, and I ordered 1,000 of them when I did my last order. So first of all, I'm so excited that 900 plus people ordered the book and loved it. And as much as I'm proud of that book, I have so much more to say that I'm like, do I order another 1,000 of that book? Or do I let that be what it is? And, people loved it. It's been a few years. Do I do option two? This is the way my mind works. I don't say, oh my gosh, there's a new variant. We can't leave the house again. Oh my God, the mask. Like, I'm not sitting in my shit. I'm saying, okay, I have some more time. So I've been wanting to do XYZ, and now I have time to do it. I'm starting to do models again for my membership. Some of my members asked about redheads, so I secured a space to be able to do the models. I jumped on a group here in Florida. I don't know anybody here, so I don't have any models. So I jumped on a social group. It's a St. Pete Ladies Meetup group. I'm like, where is a better place to find models than a ladies meetup? So I said, hey ladies, anybody looking to become a redhead? I'm looking for someone who's naturally brown, who's never been a redhead, who's thought about it and wants to do it. Your color's completely free of charge. You'll be my model. And there's Johnny. Johnny is letting me use his salon. He's an amazing friend. He's a member of the Insiders, and I realized his salon is so close to mine. And he's like, come to your models here, which is amazing, right? We are in an amazing profession that he would open his doors to me and welcome me into his salon to do these models. So now I'll be able to film new content and not worry about trying to do it in my house and putting their heads in the sink. And that whole drill of doing hair at home. It's awful. It's awful for you. It's awful for the client. So now I get to see my friend Johnny. He gets an up close and personal class because he gets to be there when I'm doing the model. So it's a win-win. But a lot of people would be like, oh no, I don't, I want to charge a day rate and I want this and that. And it's just being closed-minded. We're such an amazing community, and we can all help each other and share in our successes. There's room for everyone and everything. So I'm re-inspired and excited to do these models. I haven't done a redhead transformation in over probably a year and a half, because obviously we weren't in the salon and I'm no longer in the salon, period. So my last redhead was, touching up a redhead that I'd already converted, and those redheads are in my book. That's how few redheads I get to do, that they actually made it into my book. It's a mother-daughter, and I talk about how the same formula looks completely different on both of them and why. So I'm babbling on and on because I get so excited, but the bottom line is, join this free event. You have nothing to lose. You show up, you pop onto Facebook. It's going to be 35 to 45 minutes per night. It starts on September 8th. It's the 8th, 9th, and 10th. I have a different guest every night. So it's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If for some reason you are in Australia, you're in the UK, you're in, Ireland, you're somewhere that's a crazy time for you to show up live, just pop in and check out the replays. And if you do sign up through that link that I shared, you'll be getting an easy way to watch the replays without having to dig through the Facebook feed. So join us. It's going to be fun and uplifting. We're not going to boo-hoo and sit in our dirty diapers and complain about everything that happened in 2020 and 2021. We're going to talk about the reboot. We're going to talk about how you can do a physical reboot of your career. How can you change the way that you're doing things? One of my favorite quotes is, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And when you say that fast, people kind of give you that, you're saying the same thing, but you're not. When you change your perception of what something looks like, the thing you're looking at isn't so bad after all. A loss of a job is a perfect example. I can't tell you how many people were completely devastated when they lost, a big corporate job that was like everything to them, and they were an automatic, robot autopilot just going through the motions, and they lost the job, and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my house. How am I going to pay for my kids' tuition? What am I going to do? And then when they sat still, because they had a severance package, so there's that, lack of fear when you have that little bit of support financially. When they were able to just sit still, they realized that they hated that damn job. They've hated it for the past 10 years. They hung in there for the retirement, the gold watch, the retirement party. Woohoo, Phil, you did a great job, which never happens anymore. I walked away from a salon of 32 years. I didn't get a watch or a party or anything. It was like, oh, okay, bye, good luck. Like, that was it. So if you're keeping on doing something because you've always done it and you think that other people care what you're doing, you are sadly mistaken. And I found that out. I've experienced that in the last 3 years. People don't care as much as you give them credit for. It sounds awful, but it's true. My ride or die hard clients, I have not heard from not one of them, not one. And my daughter will say, well, they do ask about you in the salon. I said, that's just conversation. That's just busy talk, trying to act like they care. If they cared, they all know how to get in touch with me, and they don't. So one did. One is amazing. She actually sent me a lemon tree, and it has lemons on it right now. I have 6 lemons on my lemon tree. So imagine a career of 35 years behind the chair. Most of the women that I was coloring for 32 consecutive years, every 4 weeks, I've moved. I've been here almost 3 years, and one of them reached out, and she called me, how are you? We were talking. I said, oh my gosh, I have an avocado tree, a banana tree. I'm like, all I'm missing is a lemon tree. I've always wanted a lemon tree. And literally a week later, a lemon tree and a beautiful note arrives at my door. And now I have a lemon tree from that client. And don't think that I don't think about her every single day when I walk by that lemon tree. So it goes both ways. We give up our time, our body. I can't even tell you the things that are wrong with my body from standing for 10 hours a day for 35 years. My son just started a brand new job, and I'm going to be sharing his experience with all of you because he's kind of in our industry, so I'm really excited. But he started on Monday. He's in Arizona doing the training. So he's not even really doing the job yet. He's doing the training. And he called us last night. He said, man, I am exhausted. It was 8 to 5. And my husband and I just laughed out loud. We had him on speaker. I said, dude, I'm 54 years old, and I've been doing 10 to 10 for 35 years. 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., no lunch, no dinner, no pee breaks, working like an asshole for all that time for these women that now are like, what was her name again? That girl, she was funny. She had that raspy voice and that pointy chin. She was funny. She did a great job on my hair, but I can't think of her name right now. That's how unimportant we really are. And I don't mean that to be negative. I hate being negative about it. But some of you need to hear that. Some of you that are terrified right now to raise your price $3, please raise your price $3. Stop worrying about Sally that forgot about you as soon as she walked out that door. Sally's not worried about you. She's not worried about you paying your car payment, your rent, your mortgage, whatever it is. They're not thinking about you the way you think about them. And I'm not saying don't give good customer service. I'm saying look at things differently. Look at your client as your client. Just like if you were at the grocery store and they put their things on the belt and you scan their groceries, and those people don't even make eye contact with us. They have their head down and they scan the groceries, they do their job, they get their paycheck, they go home. Ours is different. You want to be present, you want to give them your time and your respect and give them eye contact, but that's it. You can be friendly and professional, but they are not your friends. They are your clients. They're not your friends. So this is just one of many things I'm going to be pushing you on with this Revive and Reboot event. And my friends that are coming as guests are going to offer even totally different things than I offer, and their total different perspective. So please join us. Thanks for listening to my rant today. Go in the salon today and raise your damn prices $3. Just do it. Don't talk about it. Don't put it on a postcard. Don't send a carrier pigeon with a little scroll telling them that next time their hair is going to be more expensive. Just simply, when you check them out today, say, Colleen, it was great to see you today. Just to let you know, next time I see you, there's going to be a slight increase in my prices. I'll see you soon. That's it. Done. Done. End of story. Easy peasy. What other industry can you give yourself a raise just because you woke up that morning and decided to do it? Now, don't decide to do it if you have major holes in your book and you're sitting for hours and hours and hours. I'm talking about you're fully booked, you have those regular clients, they're coming on a regular basis, you see them every 4 to 5 weeks, whatever your cycle is, and you're booked at least 3 weeks in advance. Go in and give yourself a raise today. And if they give you a hard time, blame it on me. Say, Elaine made me do it. I'm working with a coach and she made me do it. Have a great day. Give yourself a raise and change that perspective. Take a different route to work today. Just drive a different way. If you normally turn right, turn left, and go around a different block that you didn't go around before. And I promise you will have a completely different day because you're opening yourself up to a whole new perspective. See you next week.